That's a beautiful crocus bush right here.
Franklin Carriere explores his trapline near Montreal Lake in northern Saskatchewan with his friend David William Ross.
And you can drink that. It's for special things.
In more than 40 years of fur trapping, they have seen clear cutting reduce pristine forests to open prairie.
I haven't seen nothing.
Not much, eh?
No. Should be lots more growing here, but there's really dry sand.
Last year, that meant Carriere and Ross only caught a handful of lynxes and martens. Carriere says he also only saw one moose last winter.
What it's doing with our trap lines is that the animals cannot survive in an open area like this.
Clear cutting is a method of harvesting in which all trees are cleared from a site at the same time, and forests then regenerate evenly. Around this clear cut trap line, trees chopped down 15 years ago are just starting to grow. Carriere, who represents dozens of trappers in this area, wrote to Saskatchewan's Ministry of Environment in 2019 to request a ban on logging. The request was denied.
This is crown land. The loggers are free to do whatever they want in here. Kick out the trappers because they're nothing.
All these seeds.
Ross is also a medicine man. He says it's very hard to find any moss, let alone blueberries or jackpine bark.
Clear cuts, yeah, they're destroying a lot of medicine. And the land, it takes time to recuperate, eh?
They say that the cut forest will take at least another 40 years to grow back.
Yeah, so this is an old clear cut here. You can still see the stumps.
But Larange resident Miriam Corner says the regrowth in clear-cut areas is often diseased.
Really susceptible to beetles boring into them and other diseases and fungi. So my worry is that all these forests are being clear-cut. They're all growing back jack pine, monoculture. Like as far as we can see, we drove for miles coming in here.
Past research says clear cutting often results in monoculture, meaning only one type of trees grow back. Corner and others say it doesn't provide the same habitat for animals, the same vegetation, or the same quality of trees for future use as lumber. Saskatchewan's Ministry of Environment declined multiple interview requests, but by email it said wildfire would destroy these forests anyway. The ministry also says clear cutting is the most sustainable way to harvest timber, as it emulates what would happen naturally during a forest fire. But locals dispute that claim and question the science behind it. A 2011 study says a large body of scientific literature shows that the ecological impacts of clear cutting are much different than that of a wildfire. Perry Zelensky co-owns Zelensky Brothers Sawmill in Larange. He says the second growth of timber from clear-cut areas is very poor. Zelensky says there is no consensus on proper harvesting in the industry.
We maybe are over-harvesting. We've got a couple large mills now with the OSB plant talk and the pulp mill reopening. There may be some issues regarding that. It's something the province has to look at. Regarding to a mill of my size, I don't affect anything.
Saskatchewan's forestry sector reached an all-time high of $1.8 billion in forestry product sales in 2021. Nature Canada has raised alarm about the loss of forest as a carbon sink and the lack of regulation on carbon emissions. Meanwhile, the province has reduced stumpage fees in the north to make it more enticing for logging companies to harvest timber in the north. Experts say altogether it is accelerating global warming in the northern Saskatchewan. The community of La Crosse in northern Saskatchewan is trying to take matters into their own hands. They want to designate the land as an Indigenous protected and conserved area, or an IPCA. That could create buffer zones where logging would be prohibited, according to community member Peter DeRusha.
I want people in Saskatchewan to know that it's not just a forest. It's our land, and we want to keep it that way.
DeRusha hopes it motivates other communities in Saskatchewan to use IPCAs to protect their forest. For now, Franklin Carriere must trek long distances to continue his traditional way of life.
We had fishing industry, trapping, mushroom picking, blowing, cranberry picking. This is what our people were surviving on. And they go and sell the berries in town for food. We're losing that.
With traditions already starting to dwindle, he's concerned for what this might mean for future generations. Pratish Dayal, CBC News, near Montreal Lake.
You're right there, see? There's two of them swimming over there.